Right, here we go. We have an Adept Division quarterfinals here from the Necropolis Grail. It's played on fast speed, all games, and the first map is always Graveyards, fitting the Necropolis team. I already see Bounce sheep here spawning, unfortunately, in the back here. It might be taking him a while to find those. Boars pretty far off, the sheep horribly far ahead as well. But at least he has a dock in the back, so he could exploit quite a few of the fish here. Being Malians, he could go for an early dock and just get the fish boom going. So the scout will at least see the pond back here, but Man's really not hot on the other hand, with Incas has 3 pawns in the middle of him and his opponent, but it's definitely closer to our blue player here. Let's see if he will make use of that. And yeah, this is some sheep scouting going on for Bounce here in orange. I think he'll never really get around to these sheep here. This looks like a solid wood line, so you wouldn't really think about scouting in the back there unless you are Mr. Auto Scout. So I think he simply just won't find those, unfortunately. So that delays the start a little bit, but at least being Malians, we have cheaper wood buildings, so you can justify if you're more early farms without losing too much eco-wise in that sense, or simply just go for the fish. This one should be pretty safe for a long while here. Resource spawns, not the best for Bansanak either. He has the stones and gold forward here, although walling off here and to the sides should secure it somehow. It should be okay-ish to secure the main gold here, but... And then there's also a little bit of neutral gold in the back here. Maybe not too bad, but not ideal. On Man's really not hot side, seems like an easy wall off to the left, and also on the ponds here just a few single palisades just to make sure they're covered, and yeah, small sections over here as well, although he needs to move quite a bit far out to secure this side, but should be easy enough for him to force his opponent to run the long way around. Now, picking Incas, I immediately suspect some kind of towers and villagers play, which has become so almost the Incan meta nowadays. But they have decent archers as well, and they have, of course, the Eagle Scouts. So the options are many for Incas as well, but Stone's pretty close to the TC here, so a towers play is definitely possible. Is he already going for the second boar as well? Or, no, going for the dock maybe, or for the wall off as well? Yeah, probably going for the dock here. Bounsanak not really docking just yet, but he probably will do so as well, having the pond so close. There goes the villager. And yeah, slight villager lead from MR and H here. And he's already on the lookout for his opponent here. And yeah, for now, pretty heavy on wood. Wants to exploit that fishing eco here. Now let's just speed up a little bit and see what happens in the fuel age here. See both players adding fish here. Could suggest a later uptime for both, not going for the immediate fuel action. So 21, looks like Valsnak wants to go up maybe at his 22 pop here. Idling for a little bit. But it's going to be Mansfield not hot going to fuel age first, actually with 3 more population here. I guess he has more fishing ships working for him, maybe 1 more villager total. He is not on stone, so it's not going to be the towers play from Mansfield not hot here, but he's dropped the barracks. So he's actually going for the straight archers build here with his 21 pop and a little bit of food, eco and water. It could also be backed up with some Eagle Scouts here at some point. So the barracks is up for Bansanak as well. He has the Malians, so his militia are more tanky against archers. You see the +1 here already is some extra P of armor. He sees the archer range, even delays it, and here come the angry housewives in here, ready to make some action, to hit people with their rolling pins in their hands here. Almost picks off 1 villager here though, no blacksmith upgrade, or is it an extra... Here maybe, but the range just doesn't go up for MRNH here. That's a bit unfortunate that it's been delayed so much. That means defending against the militia goes to be even more tough here. Bloodstock also loses his scout. That limits his scouting intel a little bit. He doesn't know too much here. He doesn't know what the main gold of Mansfield, for example, is down here. Pretty safe actually with the walls here and everything. But going for the double range approach with Incas here, Mansfield not hot, he's probably floating a healthier eco than Bansnak at this point. But second range gets delayed again, and even getting a few archers out is not going to make it easy to clean up these this rush forward here, because they have this now melt arms actually, and they have this extra pierce armor already, so no joke there. Gathering some scouting intel on the other side here, knows the basic stuff, actually hasn't scouted the gold or anything here, so but looks like Bansnak is also going for the range here, range defense maybe. Malins have of course decent archers as well. But there's been quite a bit of idle time for Master Not Hot here, but he still has the villagers. He's on 1 pound so far. Let's look at the village count for Bansnak as well. It's 24 villagers, but a couple of ships here as well. So he is significantly behind the villagers here. It's 32 to 29, that's 3 villager indeed, but again, military production buildings delayed a lot here from Master Not Hot, so that impairs his archer production quite a lot, and there will be archers to oppose him on the other side here, so... Eco setups look pretty similar here. It's quite a few more on wood for Master Not Hot. It could be that he wants to go for more fish, that's the idea. These ships are actually idling now, but he notices, sends the 3 ships back to work. Now dropping the blacksmith, but there are archers here already ready to deny this blacksmith from going up. That means no fletching from Mansfield and Hotel, at least not just yet. But with the wall-offs here and buildings, actually it's still open here, so Bansnak could consider going this way around as well. That should be shorter. There is no specifics on who is allowed to start a draft. That's up to you really. It's you could do a flip a coin or something, or just agree on who starts, because there's not really any rules about who does. Cleans up the forward archers here now. The blacksmith is in place, but how's the eco? Yeah, sure, certainly supports getting fletching by now. That's something you really want for your archers before going forward. You see Bansnak consistent on sending the army to the right hand side here. Could be that he knows that the stone is here and he wants to cover this area. Still no fletching from Mansfield on top. I mean, he could still do damage, but he's also up against his enemy archers, which I guess don't have fletching either, because there isn't any blacksmith for Bansnak here. But Mansfield and Holt can't really know that that's the case other than looking at the army and seeing whether they have it or not. So really should be getting that in those upgrades. He can afford them. He could be delaying them as well just to get to the castle lakes quicker with food and gold, but I think it's not optimal, even though having the numbers advantage here with 13 to 6. And Bansnak taking the hill, coming from the hill behind there. It should be easy enough for him to back off to the hill. Gets almost 1 kill here, but he is outnumbered. He's going to take some bad fights here, although having the hill. But it's still outnumbered, so I think he'll lose the numbers importance here. We'll see, Master of has also docked in the north here. Sneaky dock here with a couple of fiery guns queuing up, so he's going to deny the fish of his opponent here. Cleans up the army of land as well. Looking good for Master of so far here. He's producing for 2 ranges and his opponent's only at 1, but Bansnak in exchange is going up to the next age. That could be bad news for him, losing the 4 fish he has here now. That means less food access for him. And not really any Urges means arm, but he is going for the stables approach here, wants to go for knights most likely. But meanwhile he is facing Incan archers here with fletching now. But good awareness here to make some preemptive house walls behind the palisade here. They should be out, the villagers here should be out of range of village archers, so there won't be any breaking in here for Mansfield Hot. He might get in, but might won't do too much here. I wonder if he sees the walling behind. There he does, he sees the house. Now what spear is out for Bansnak? Not really see how that's going to benefit him in any way. I mean, it's not going to be any cavalry from the Incas player. And the archers looping around, there will be a castle age as well, and also already switching to Eagle Scouts, so he's actually expecting a continued archers play for Bansnak here. That might be significant for Bansnak here, that once he gets knights on the field, he's getting bloodlines and everything now. He's also trying to take his pawn back by adding some fire galleys of his own. Castle age is in for Mansfield and Hot as well. I think Mansfield and Hot's eco is better simply because he still has the fish income. He's taking crossbow right away, but he will be having some eagle support as well. I think eagles in small numbers should be able to deal with knights here, but he needs to bring them forward. He doesn't, well, he sees one stable, so maybe he should consider adding some spears of his own as well, or get the archer's masses up. But he's downhill here, he's trying to get to the hill, he is forced to take the fight before crossbow here, so good awareness from Bansnak there, bringing the knights out just in time to deal with the archers before they become crossbows, and the numbers go very badly down here, although Mansfield and Hot tries to save the weak ones and lure them away, and there's crossbows in, but he loses, unfortunately, his whole forward here. So good micro from Bansnak here, bringing in the skirms from the other side as well, doing a bit of surround here with knights, although, yeah, they have the +1 actually. And meanwhile, teched into fire ship on the water here, so then it makes it easier for him to deal with fire galleys as well. There is a sneak builder up here from Mansfield and Hot, could be used maybe for other purposes, add some forward siege or something to, but that's out of the question now that stables are on the field. So we'll add a TC on the neutral gold and some woodline here. It has some crossbows to protect, but doesn't really see that Bansnak army is running in here. Will hopefully send the crossbows right back now to deal with this. Actually, the mounted Minister goes straight for the base of Mansfield and Hot, and they don't try to deny this TC. This could have been 5 cheap kills here for Bansnak. Not looking good for Bounce so far, you're right, but he's so he's taking back water here at home, and is also getting with some raids in, so... But this is not ideal, I think. So I'm... Quick walls. Yeah, they lured him into TC fire, so that helps out a bit here. Skirms and camels forward as well. Unfortunately for Bansnak, he wasn't able to deny this TC. He had a perfect opportunity there to send in his knights and camels on the TC foundation here and kill or chase away the villagers and delay this TC, but it goes up, and that's some nice defensive measure from Mansfield and Hot here, defending the side gold and woodlines here. Also, crossbows doing work here. I think they'll clean up this fort. These are only feudal skirmishers, and the Eagle Warriors are taking on the skirms here, so nice cleanup. The KD looks very much in Mansfield and Hot's favor for now. Military numbers as well, they are somewhat even, but with a mix of... I don't really, actually I have to admit, I don't really see why Bansnak would add camels to this mix, because they are weak to most... I don't know, maybe they have some kind of bonus against Eagle Warriors or something, but they are generally weaker than Knights in this matchup. Knights would do nice against crossbows, at least in equal numbers, so... But camels might be cheaper and move a little bit faster as well, so... Could be some reasoning behind that, making it resource efficient. Look at Bansnak Eco, both players completely idle at this point, but 3 TC boom for MRNH here, and only 2 TCs for Bansnak so far. Now adding a monster way in the back here for the Incas player. Wants to hunt those relics, so there are lots of relics on this graveyards map. And he needs to deal with these knights as well, now probably with +2. No, they don't have +2 either, so it's just a little something of Bansnak's eco here that knights still don't have +2, even though he doesn't have huge numbers of them. We see some Eagle Warriors with their pointy sticks here running forward. Looking to do some damage, but will run into knights if they go to the right side here. This is only open until the house is there, I think, but this side is completely open, so that could have been a nice entry point for Mansfield and Hot here. I think yet again has cleaned up the numbers of knights. Bounce just sending a few knights at a time. Surely it's annoying, but in a larger mass they would be able to do more damage, I think. But now Bounce dropping a dock on this pond here. I think he knows that Blue Dock is here, so he is able to deal with that. We'll add some fire ships there, I believe. And might actually, he can't know this, but he might be overcommitting a little bit now with 3 fire ships on water. We're just 1 dock after all, and 3 fishing ships. So just do a little bit of scouting here, see what's out here, and you could judge how much army you need to invest in on water here. So Monk is out from Mansfield and Thought. He's standing in the wall here. That's a interesting move by an old man there. Okay, it was open. But gets a knight here. You can see the Incan knight. Don't see these too often. Meanwhile, Mansnock is running forward with a couple of knights here. Could he be able to clean up the... He has the +2 now, but here come the pikes, so he needs to be careful here. He can't actually see the pikes. Now getting the upgrade for the knights as well, but he will need to run away very, very soon, otherwise it will be chewed up by these pikes. And he's running... yeah, almost loses 1 knight here. But yet again he chooses to run in, wants to damage the eco, but now there are Malian pikemen here. Need to be dodged mostly. I was wondering if a creek was in progress here, but that's only a mining camp. So chooses to go for 1 of the pikes here, but you can't win this Bounce-Knock. You need to bail right now. You need more numbers, or preferably bring in some archers or skirms or whatever to deal with the pikes. Eagle Warrior is raiding on the other side. Meanwhile, Eco still doesn't look too sharp for Bounce-Knock here. 2 stables, 2 TCs, investing a little bit of water. Actually, he has the 3 fire ships there. That could be somewhat of an overcommitment, but this is a huge pond, so he probably expected there to be more presence on water there, but saves these knights as well. Pretty weak knight here. Might consider healing those up. But here come the pikes forward as well, and Mansfield not hot using his 4 villagers to drop some houses and do some work on this side. Hello, Bounce-Knock. Nice to see the players tuning in for their games. So adding a Scorpion for the Mansfield, that's a nice measure to hit the infantry masses behind walls here. He's actually taking into long sportsman as well. That's actually an Evicton. Hi there, Albarikok23. Nice to see new faces, I think, and see Quijano as well. Yeah, so we saw Bounce-Knock taking into long swordsman here. That's effectively a counter to almost everything Mansfield and Hot can make here. It counters the pikemen, it counters the Eagle Warriors. And that's also a decent counter to crossbows, because Malian infantry have the extra pierce armor. But some questionable fights being taken by Bounce-Knock here. I think he would expect the knights to do better against Eagle Warriors like this, but they have the +1 attack here and some extra defense, so not the easiest job in the world to take them out. Nice casting from Mansfield and Hot. Is covering his neutral gold here and also denying passage for Bounce-Knock through this side where he's been coming the whole time. I think it should also be considered maybe to wall off the sides here if he scouted this area, and he has, so could be something to think about. But we see Mansfield and Hot also taking Imperial Age here, so that should give him some edge in the fighting and to push forward. Can't really see any castles from Bounce-Knock so far. And he will also, of course, need to be Imperial Age himself to challenge a Trebor, and he's pretty far away from that right now. He's also down a little bit in military and in builder, so not looking too great for Bounce-Knock this game so far. We saw this Imperius here beginning a little bit with the sheep spawning in these odd places, so that could be attributed to that as well. And also we're at fast speed, so the fact that you don't find your resources early can really impact your game. Also, we have to talk a little bit about the map generation here, that there are 3 ponds here very close to Mansfield and Hot. He's not making full use of them right now. He's actually lost here, but he lost the pond when there weren't any deep fish left, so he's really been made use of that. He's going pretty heavily into gold here now. Could be thinking about the eagle or committing more into the Eagle Warriors line. I think he's adding quite a few more of them, and that's a fantastic raiding unit, so that should work out nicely for him. The Incas also have a unique tech that give the Eagle Warriors more defense, I believe. Let me just double check that. Pierce armor, okay. So that makes them at least even stronger against archers. Not that you would make archers against Eagle Warriors anyway, but means they could tank more TC or cast arrows as well, so it should be even more of an option to take them out that way. So Bansnak sends in some long swordsmen to harass a bit here, but even against these pikemen, he's losing simply because of pure mass here. So it's losing long swordsmen to pikemen here, unfortunately. They were probably a bit weakened by casting fire as well. And look at Kambayuts being added. Of course, a fantastic counter to any mounted units if Bansnak would commit more to the... Say he goes Farimba, unique tech Cavalier, for example, then he gets extra attack on his Cavalier, but Kambayuts, they are probably the best counter to mounted units out there, so nice awareness from Mansfield Not here, adding Kambayuks to the mix. Kambayuks also have the range, so they could cause trouble for long swordsmen here, because they can use the range to actually get some hits in before the long swordsman can hit them. So he takes the fight here, has the superior numbers. The Scorp is in the mix here as well. I mean, one surely helps, but having a few more numbers would probably help out even more. So the Rams go down here. I think Bansnak needs more for production, or simply have the guts to mass up more army at home before moving out for this to work out for him. Treb is on the field, is looking great for Mansfield Hot now. He is in a villager lead of 25 almost here, and he's keeping the army numbers close to his opponents. So it's actually, yeah, it's still 3 TCs for Mansfield Hot here. Bansnak has added a 4th one himself, he's adding a lot of farms here, so he could be thinking about going into some light cab and bit later on, when or if he gets to Imperial Age, to go for the Farimba unique tech. Then he would have light cab with a lot of extra attack to raid with. But he's committing to the forward siege, longswords push. It's probably his best option, honestly, because his longswords or champion's line counters pretty much everything that Inca's player can come up with here. So I think that's the reasonable play here. But committing this match to production as well means that he will maybe never see Imperial Age in this match, because it's such a huge commitment of food and gold to make these masses of long swordsmen. Here he goes forward, loses his ship to the pointy guys here, actually, the Kambayuks. But runs in the extra Pierce armor helps a lot, even when going under cast and fire. With the team taking a lot of damage under A anyway, so I think this is a sub-optimal fight for him. He admittedly kind of wastes units here, running under cast and fire, trying to take out units. It could be that he wanted to focus down the traps here and didn't really succeed. And those scores as well, looking very much in favor of Mansfield Not Hot here. The KD not that different, but population is around 30 more for Mansfield Not Hot. Is really sustaining this army production here, committing to Eagles. Also wants to add some ranged units here. I mean, if he has gone for the unique tech, that also benefits slingers, so that could be a play. But Bansnak now reaching out to the other side, is adding quite a few barracks on this side, so he's trying to make a forward away from Mansfield Hot's army here, so have to commend him for the map awareness and moving around and trying to make damage at a different place while having been pushing on this side as well. So it looks like Bracer is coming in. What's is it going to be? archer line units for Mansfield not hot here. Seems pretty gold heavy. But yeah, then again, he's mining gold at many different places. He has lots of stone in bank as well. Could drop many castles here. Could probably consider going for a forward castle drop at this point to just to push further with trebs. Has the cameos on one side, eagles on another. They will take down this house with help from the treb and get in and get the raids going. And see all the expired farms here for Budsnag. Doesn't look too pretty right now. He's very low in food and gold, although committing to massive barracks production here. So here they go. He gets some longsword straight in here, but is it going to be enough? There are slingers on the field. They could probably deal decently with the Malian longswords here, and at the same time some push eagle cavalry push here, protecting the traps as well. Has so much army forward now for Mansfield that he could start taking out TCs, and the defensive castle is even out of the question for Vansnak because he hasn't really been mining stone at all here. So TC is helping clean up the raids here. The TC placement makes it hard to get into raids for effective raids for the Malians here. They might be overestimating the Malians bonus here as well, but we see it takes a few volleys of arrows here to take out the longswords, but now it's been cleaned up. And what does Vansnak do now? He needs to fight off the aggression at home. He's down to, well, actually they were pretty similar in the villager counts here, but the military count is very significant for Mansfield not hot here, and the GG well played is called. So probably not expecting Incas to be picked on this map. Could be that he was afraid of some early tower aggression as well, but they both went well, Mansfield Hot went straight for the Archer's line, where Vansnak went for the Drush with some effect there, but was falling behind later on to larger army numbers from Mansfield Not Hot here. KD is slightly in favor of Mansfield Not here. He did, of course, get the racings and kept the largest army for the most part here. He is also with an eco advantage overall. Otherwise, uptime's pretty similar here, but Mansfield Hot reaching in being a key technology difference. Did he actually get to Elite Eagle Warrior in the end? Where are they? No, he's stuck with the Eagle Warriors, but still it did their job for him with raiding. Still was floating eco too. He could have even sold stone for gold for the upgrade or what. This is a recorded game, so but I will be on the lookout for live casts of whatever games come up moving forward from now as well, because yeah, if I'm around to cast a live game or live set, I would be happy to do so. But these are definitely recorded games. Oh, you start in 10 minutes or so. Is that a quarterfinal game? Okay. It feels a little bit wrong to interrupt the set, but these are recording games. I would love to cast some live, so maybe I'll put an update in the description about I'm going live. Yeah, thanks. Just PM me the just write me on PM when you start, and I'll be on the lookout for your games. I can't see your... Okay, we'll do the coin flip here. Look, this is in Norwegian, but anyway. Oh, just we can use this one if it's in English. Here's heads or tails. Here we go. Yeah, let's do another one. Just here we go. In-game name is Akkal, Akkal. For the follows, Navy AOE. I would love to cast game live when they are live if I have the opportunity. So it seems kind of wrong to to stop a set in the middle of or right after the first game, but there's just something of live. Live being live. If I can find them, but it's... Yep, thanks. You're in draft. That's okay. You need to... The game lobby needs to be... what do you mean? Do you need to... No, when you host the lobby, you need to set spectators allowed. You need to make sure spectators allowed is toggled when you host the lobby. I'll show you. Yes, create lobby. Allow spectators. And I think that's not possible in private. Let's see. No. I would prefer... I think it has to be public for spectators to be allowed. So it needs to be public lobby, spectators allowed. But then you could set, for example, if you're afraid of a stream snipe or whatnot, or in-game snipe, you could set delay to something if you are uncomfortable with no spec delay. But it needs to be public and spectators allowed. Yeah, now I can see it, so that should be fine. Yep, tell you when you start and leave the scene. That's good. Thanks. You start now. Thank you. So here we go, we have a live game of Necropolis Grail here on our hands. I'm just gonna add a civ command quickly here. So it's Necropolis Grail, always played on fast speed, and this is one of the quarterfinals. So we have Maniac here in the blue playing as Japanese. Always good with Japanese on hybrids or maps with ponds like these where you risk fighting on water because the fishing ships can tank more damage. They have double the HP. We have Accepted here in the red playing as Mayans. Mayans, of course, strong civ on most maps, and on a map like this with hills and extra goals and resources, they are certainly a valid contestant for the win here. So you see both players off to decent starts here. I think they've been able to find their core resources, which can sometimes be a challenge on these maps. And would not be too surprised to see like infantry style openings from both players. Japanese have a faster attacking inventar starting from feudal age, and Mayans have, well, they just need to buy time to get their boom and ecos going, right? So we see the Mayans player already starting his wall off on this side. Actually walling the back side here first. He's taking the corner here. I don't quite see why you would place a house there. It could be just out of necessity. But walling off the section here, if you'd scouted a little bit further, you would see that there is no opening here at all. So, but yeah, getting the walls down, and we'll probably get to walling these areas as well if he's opting for the more fast castle style play here. He has also scouted the pond in the back here. Nice pond for the Mayans player here, close to his base with lots of deep fish. So it's basically more than 1,000 food for free here if you choose to dock, and looks like that's the plan considering the wood count here. Maniac, however, the Japanese player, has been out on the run here to steal some sheep, but Accepted notices it just in time and now recovers his last two Gaia sheep as well. So a nice scouting effort from Maniac here. He's browsing through the map, he's seen the pond, didn't quite catch the dock, but seeing that there's a pond here means that the opponent is likely to go there. Actually a pond here for the Mayans player as well, but looks like he'll be walling it out. Now actually killing Maniac's scout. So Maniac maybe with a core intel here, knows the berries, but does not see that the golds are in the back here, so it's going to be tough to stop the gold income from Maniac here. Japanese player getting housed here for a little bit. That could be causing him to fall a little bit behind. Has lots of idols here actually, so was probably maybe a little bit stressed out by the fast speed here and dropping the panic house. Now yeah, hunting multiple sheep at once here, but also going for the wall off here, I assume. Sees this section here, probably going to wall that just to make sure there won't be any entrance for the Mayans player. There's a pretty huge section for Maniac to wall here, but not at all impossible. This one is pretty small, and then there you could maybe secure the gold with a wall across here or something. Both players going to village at the exact same time, but Accepted, being on water, has the superior population here. That means some extra food income for Accepted here, but also spots a forward from Maniac here, so now knows that Maniac has docked this pond as well. This is certainly worth contesting for both players. Lots of deep fish here. His builder will unfortunately go down, but the dock is up, so there will maybe be feudal fighting already on water here, which would also impair the Mayans player's ability to go straight for the archers here. We see the food eco spiking up for accepted here. It could go straight for the castle age, actually just dropped the blacksmith market or blacksmith range, and well, it's probably going to be blacksmith market because there aren't any military buildings up just yet, but he will be able to go straight to the castle age here. What's the setup like for Maniac? Missing both food and gold here, so he will not be going straight for the castle age. Walling off here, maybe already a little bit, or already a little bit behind eco-wise here, but he's going for the water aggression. So 2 fire galleys in queue for Maniac here, and only 1 for accepted. So if the Japanese player being a little bit more patient here, he could have 2 galleys out before commencing, but he gets 1 fishing ship already before the fire galley of the mines player is ready here. So he is going to win water. He needs to pay attention though and not lose HP too quickly here. The fire galley is in the making here, but then there's a fire galley for both players, so we will lose this fire galley before the mines player can get his second one out. So we'll need to act quickly now to challenge the water. Maybe go straight. Go straight for the fish here. Maybe now he will take the fire galley as well, but he will meet another one just right now. He doesn't bring it in time for repairs though, and now committing to another fire galley here. So accepted, and meanwhile is well on the way to castle age. He is now attacking the Japanese fish. That's gonna take forever because they have 180 HP, but there's nothing to contest it at the moment. But here comes another fire galley to deal with this one. So that's gold investment for both players, maybe most significant for accepted here, who probably wants to get his land army up and going with archers here. But he's dropping the barracks now, he's going to drop the archery range as well for sure. He could drop 2 archery ranges here and still afford some archers production. And now doing some repairs on water as well, so Maniac here will lose his fire galley. That's gold investment lost for him again here, and he is with a weaker eco here, but going to be close to the next age as well. Here's the Eagle Scout looking for where to go for the attack later on, but Maniac fully wall at home here. So Maniac losing on water here, and they're kind of just trading evenly with fire galleys here, but Maniac will now lose his fish, but he could get the... Oh, it's going straight for it. I guess that makes sense because that forces more wood investment for your opponent if he wants to stay on water with the fish. But then again, if he'd gotten the first hit on this fire galley, he would have won that fight as well. So now he ends up losing his own fishing ships because he didn't attack the fire galley before he went for the fishing ships here. So could be that's still a good trade for him because he's forcing a wood investment for his opponent. But look at the wood floated by accepted here. He has 11 on wood, but that's also with the Mayan eco bonus bringing resources lasted longer. Maniac here with going up to the castle age now with a pretty healthy eco as well. It looks like he's going straight for the archers as well. The Mayan archers are cheaper and they're both at... I was going to say they're both going to be at 2 ranges, but actually accepted is not committing to any army at all now. It's just dropping his another 2 TCs, wants to get a real massive eco head start here on his opponent, and at the moment their villager counts are similar, but Maniac is going up to the next stage, and meanwhile his opponent is on the 3 TCs. So the Mines player is going to have a heavy eco advantage here, but we should also see the military numbers spiking up for Maniac here once he's gets his production going further on. He's only producing a few archers at a time here now. No upgrades for the blacksmith, now producing on both ranges while going up, and still wants to challenge water on this side, which I think is a reasonable decision, but he also needs to decide whether he wants to invest on land, on water for the most part here. Is a little bit unbalanced eco here, maybe as floating lots of wood, lots of food. Probably looking to drop the TCs once he gets to the next age, but could have benefited from some market usage here. He doesn't really have one, but if he had, he could have sold some wood and just kept that army production going nice and evenly. But here comes Crossbow. He has some archers out on the field somewhere. Let's see where he's going. I don't really see them. He's a forward villager again. This one might drop some forward siege or something here. And red villager going straight for a castle, so going into the plumed archers play here, I guess, for accepted. Already floating enough stone to almost build another castle as well. So 3 TC room and a castle up for accepted. Even with smaller military numbers here for accepted is still in the eco lead with more villagers and will probably commit to army from castles production and the plumes, as we know, are pretty quick to could be used both as raiding unit and as a regular archer's offensive unit. But there are crossbows on the field for Maniac now. He has fletching, missing Bodkin arrow for sure, not having ballistics yet either, because he doesn't have any units to research it. But sees the castle goes up because he has a house on the hill here, so that's nice for some vision there. Crossbows now looking to break through. Little do they know that there are already 3 TCs very well collected in the main base here for Maniac, so it's going to be hard to get some significant hits in here for Maniac. Could actually consider to go around here instead and just take out this palisade and run in on gold and even get kind of a hill advantage here, but he tries to do damage where he can, goes for palisade walls. Accepted will be forced to quick wall here somehow. He doesn't have any significant army at the moment. He's producing plumed archers, of course, getting Bodkin arrow, something that the Japanese player doesn't have yet. But now he's adding forward siege, so that could be significant here. If he hits from the hill here, siege will for sure do some damage here. But now plumes are up on the hill, they're ready to contest the crossbows. They have the +2, the Japanese archers still with only +1, and they have to fight uphill. Needs to get to the hill here now. Seems like pretty equal numbers, but I think the plumes should still win here. They are quicker, a little bit of movement here. If they would have been moving as well, it would be much tougher for Maniac to deal with, but they are cleaning up, and it's a good trade for accepted. We see the KD is 24 to 11 now. He's just firing at the siege workshop here. The Scorpion will get some hits in on the plumes though, so nice option there to add a Scorpion instead of a Magnolil there. Investment wise, it's cheaper in production. Meanwhile, accepted is gathering scouting intel on the map, probably is getting some insight on where the relics might be. The villager counts here, accepted being early up with the 3 TCs. Japanese player committing to 2 TCs for a moment, so he will be lagging behind the villager count, at least for now. That's pretty significant when you're playing against mines, because it can... mines with their eco bonus will always cause them to have more resources overall, but our blue player moving forward here, maybe looking to drop another TC on the woodland on gold here. Not the worst spot. Also with the decent forward here, with of course Bodkin arrow for the archers, double mangonels hitting here. This castle is actually not protecting any of the TCs, so if you can make an opening for yourself here, the mangonels could do some serious damage here. And not really well accepted, has quite a bit of army and is going into the barracks now. Probably wants to go straight and go for the Eagle Warriors to deal with the siege. So one of the upsides of being Mayans here, that they have the fantastic Eagle Warriors to deal with siege. And look at these numbers here, the plumes. I mean, the Maniac is allowing his opponent to take the hill here, because he doesn't really have any production buildings up here to stop any armies moving after, but there is a Magnol here as well. The plumes can easily dodge, but they take some damage here. But here the Eagle Warriors will just chew up this Magnol. And could also, yeah, we'll get the other Magnol as well, and now we'll start chewing up on the crossbows as well. Now I think both has an attack on a meat shield and letting the plumes get lots of hits in here. And look at Micro here, it's 37 to 25 kills for accepted now. His score looks very beneficial here. His map gen slightly more lucky as well, but he isn't floating a lot of gold. I mean, there's more neutral golds close to Maniac, so he could benefit from that later in the game if this goes to the late game. But now just chilling out with the Plume Archers. Maniac catching up on the villager count here though. He is producing out of 3 TCs. Will now maybe lose to Plumes here if it's not very observant here, but it sees it in time. Garrisons will get some nice hits in here now, and the Plumes are just sitting under the TC fire, dying needlessly here. That's a bit of a sacrifice for Accepted there. Didn't really get much value from the Plumes in this forward. Now another cast big drop from Accept. That means more possibility of doing Archer, but he's also taking ballistics now, so his archers will fire much more accurately. And with this cast, they secure both this hill and the golds here, and he's probably going to be trying to secure this hill later on as well, just to make sure there aren't any vulnerable points to attack. Which counts dead even though for the 2 players it's 90-90, but Maniac behind the military here needs some defensive measures here to do this. He's dropping a market now, floating very much gold, so he wants to adjust that a little bit. He could actually even buy Imperial here and go earlier up, but Maniac chooses to call the GG as the Blue Nocturnes burst in here, and Eagle Warriors as well, and he doesn't really have any significant defense at home to deal with this, so that brings the score up to 1-0 for Accepted in this set. So quick look at stats here. Looking at the ratings as well, Accepted actually lower rated than his opponent here, but not that huge of a gap as well. We don't see the all-time highest rank here, so he might also be an experienced Mayans player, know exactly what to do. He went for the Blue Archers, very strong unit, and also defended nicely on water early on. KD 49 to 36 in the end, so nothing too significant about that in the end, but Eco getting the Castellation and 3 years is up a lot earlier. Gives him the eco advantage, especially as Mayans. Villager count, same for both players, but here's the uptime cast stage, very significant here, at least for the eco, and the Maniac maybe a little bit too eager to take the fights of water. If he had waited for 2 fire galleys before he started attacking the first time around, he might have been able to finish off the water fights earlier, because Accepted was lagging behind in the actual water army production. So this is a best of 5, by the way. This means we will be moving on to Maniac's home map. I'm just gonna have a quick look and see if they by any chance sent me the draft. Okay, here we go. The second game is live. We have Maniac's home map being Necro Arena. I didn't mean to pause. So the map is Necro Arena, that's his Maniac's home map here. So he's chosen Vikings for this one. In Vikings they have a fantastic eco, so they could consider going early to a few late and just have the handcart kicking in for them and then get the eco going on that way. Looks like the sheep are spawning outside for Maniac here. Are they spawning outside for Accepted as well? Accepted has all of his sheep inside apparently. So he could go for a lane if he's a real bad boy, but anyway, Maniac here, playing as Vikings, removing some walls, getting the lumber camp up here now, Accepted. Has chosen the Turks, so let's see if he will be going for the Turks fast imp here, which is a quite common strategy on Arena. But then again, you could easily go for a castle drop with Turks as well, and just drop the castle and get these Janissars out and wreak havoc in his opponent's base. Maniac needs to extend his scouting agent, so we will find this last sheep now. We're about to catch up with live gameplay here, so... Oh, Maniac finds the sheep just in time. So as Accepted is scouting this area. He sees that the deer are outside though, and the deer are inside for Accepted, so the reason for this is they're playing on a Necropolis variant of the map and on with these details added. And this map is based on a script from before Definitive Edition, so the generations will be like that. He's actually going to mill the deer out here, quite risky considering there's a scout on the field from his opponent. And these villagers are unloomed, so but you want that extra food, you want your eco to be ready for a standard fast castle on Arena, unless you have something specific masterpiece style in mind. So there's 7 on berries for Accepted here. He's struggling for food a little bit, or is just a means to get up through the ages more efficiently. He shouldn't have any trouble luring in his deer because they're over here. There are some trees causing a little bit of trouble here, but you see the pathing here is not optimal, but he's bringing them in. And yeah, with 7 on wood here, on only one lumber camp though, so this must be setting up for some farms. Is 26 pop up, could be 28. No, maybe not a fast imp after all, could be a fast castle here and potentially a castle drop. But having the stone forward like this means also that his opponent could be able to scout what's going on. He sees 2 tiles in, that should be just enough to see if his opponent is taking the stone here. But village kicking in for both players, pretty similar at times. Wolf runs in on the villagers here, so there's one really big villager here. So if Accepted runs forward and sees this food being taken, he could most definitely get a villager pick off here. So it's dropping the market. Is he dropping the smith as well? There it is. And he should be nicely set up for a fast castle here. He's floating food and gold as needed. Vikings player not so much. He will be... Okay, he's going for the range here. And I don't see any blacksmith or market or anything, so he's committing to feudal play here to maybe grasp some map control, I'm not sure. He's also 1 villager behind while his opponent is going to castle age here. So double, no, range blacksmith for Maniac. He's still missing a little bit of food. Too few farms here, maybe relying a little bit too much on the hunt. He's actually taking the last deer here, so he's not finished hunting either. So it's going to be a significant difference in the uptimes here, and that's going to favor the Turk a lot, especially if he now goes for a castle drop, which looks like he will do. I would love to see him then drop it on Yeah, it's not really, yeah, you could drop it on the gold here because he definitely sees this gold. So the castle drop will likely happen here unless he opts for a defensive castle first, something that could happen as well. But Maniac takes a hit on his scout here, and once accepted reach is the next age, he will be having a light cab for free. So this scout is just very likely to die. And if the scout dies, that also impairs your vision on the map, but there are archers here, so if he sends archers out on the field, he could get some line of sight. And actually, Accepted chooses not to chase his scout, even though he's up to the gas station, and he would win the fight anyway, because this would still be a scout, and this would be a light cap. So I hope he's paying attention. Maniac is taking the long way around back into his base here, so pity for the scout not noticing that. Castle is in for accepted. He is probably able to afford a castle at least soon. It's not going to be the immediate castle drop here unless he is... No, he's actually committing to the TCs here, so that was pretty heavy commitment to stone early on to drop the TCs and not the castle. So that's a bit puzzling here. Means he won't really exploit his early uptime advantage here, while the Vikings player is out with archers already, so he could easily protect the relics at this time, although he will be fighting against light cab if accepted adds a stable or something, but accepted for now only with the barracks, blacksmith market, not preparing any army at all. So we see the archers there, no loom, no anything for now. Vikings player is up as well. He's probably dropping a TC, yeah, maybe 2. No, he's committing a bit to houses here, so really doesn't want to be housed on arena, this guy. Stable being dropped for accepted now. I mean, if you get a few light cab out, preferably with armor, he will easily be able to deal with the archers of the Vikings player. So Vikings player committed to archers, but not going immediately for crossbows, rather going for the 2 TC boom here. That suggests to me that he wants to commit more to army as well, but see light cab being added as well, so there will be a fight for relics. So how will the archers here fare against light cab? We will need crossbow for sure to challenge number of light cab on the field here. Yeah, look at the archer easily going down to the light cabber, although the light cab will die, but he did kill a scout, he did kill... He actually gets both archers. Fantastic value from one light cab here, even without upgrades. That's the free light cab upgrade for Turks doing work here, and also mining stone here should be able to afford a castle now. Dropping a castle forward now won't be as easy though, because there are archers on the field, but still missing all upgrades here, getting fletching now. So there's fletching, but you're in castle age, why not just go for the crossbows? Should be able to afford that as well, maybe it's coming. Well, adding spears at least to deal with the scouts, or rather light cab here. But archers with fetching, no significant upgrades here. Probably wants to drop another TC now because floating lots of wood here. This is some peculiar Vikings play here, I'd say, not just exploiting the fact that they have an amazing boom. Is actually Maniac is actually falling slightly behind on builders here, and accepted chooses to drop the castle at home. And why not? It defense-ish the goal there, at least from archers, which his opponent is going for. And yeah. But also losing units here as well, not committing to any defensive upgrades for the light capper. Maybe it doesn't need to either, but now he's dropping the 1-3. He will be, as Turks, he will be desperate for any old gold income he can have, and Maniac has already collected 1 relic here, so adding army presence on the field here with spears and whatnot is not making it easier for accepted to snag the relics here, but too little military presence for Maniac here around the relics with the archers. Still not crossbows, of course it's not any huge numbers here, but we are likely to see the Vikings going for crossbows and arbalests anyway, and he will lose yet another archer here to light cab. Imagine if these guys had been crossbows, it would at the very least have been a lot better fights. But could be working as a distraction maneuver as well, because he's bringing home another relic. And the Turks player will be deprived of relics here, at least 2 of them. Looking at villager counts, they're pretty similar for both players, both only on 2 TCs. I don't really know, it's 3 for the Vikings player, so he should be getting a head start on the boom here now. So, light cab following the monk in here. The monk is going down, but the light cab will be going down to TC fire as well, I'm sure. If Maniac pays attention to this. Maniac actually losing one villager here somewhat needlessly. He isn't reacting here at all, he's losing another villager under the TC. So, Garrison, man, Garrison! You're losing a 3rd villager, what's going on here? Oh, it's so painful to see 4 villagers going down, and finally Garrison's CC and his light cab, hero light cab finally goes down, but killing 4 villagers along the way there. Adjusting the numbers here to 68 to 69 here, but still only 2 TCs for the Turks player though. But he is has his cast lab, he's adding Janissaries now, should make map control a lot easier. Just look at the range of a Janissary as compared to crossbows at this stage anyway. It's 5+1 for crossbow, that's 6 range, but Janissary has 8. So at this stage in the game, the cast late Janissaries should easily be able to contest crossbows as long as you don't let the crossbows get close enough. And 1 relic for accepted as well here, it's 2 to 1 in relics count, that should be 2-2 by now. Where's the last one? Okay, so it's inside Maniac space, so we lost the monk on the way in here, but the relic is inside, so Maniac will snag the 3rd relic once he gets the monk out to pick it up. Getting a little bit housed here and now, so that impairs the villager production a little bit. There's 77 to 74 villagers for Maniac though, and that number should be increasing considering that accepted is on 2 TCs only. But that also suggests that both players have continuous production of TCs like they do now. So scores pretty even here. Military 10 to 7 now. At this stage of the game, Turks players should move forward, get some siege up maybe, and have Janissaries to support, break in, and just deal what damage you can. 5 villagers going forward now for accepted. That's going to be a castle in the field here. So taking some map control, but not really. Okay, arguably protects the gold here a little bit, and also this forward of his base, but I think still that he could afford a more, having army presence on field, I think he could afford an even more aggressive castle as well. But chooses to add the siege at home. Okay, wants to keep it out of his opponent's sight. I guess that's a reasonable choice. Imperial Age coming in for the Turks play as well, so he is going for kind of a fast Imperial, at least compared to his opponent, who is actually able to click Imp as well. He might be missing the 2nd building. He's dropping to University now, so once the University is up, we will be seeing the Imperial Age click for the Vikings as well. So they're both going for pretty early Imperial Ages here with 94 and 84 villagers respectively. Having stayed in Castlate for a while, it should prove very significant for Maniac's eco here though. Look at the resources compared. Still only 2 TCs from the Turks, and considering being on 2 TCs as opposed to 3, he should have more military presence on the field. But he is producing alpha. Is he producing alpha both castle? Let's see. Not at the moment. He's not adding in siege either. Maybe waiting for Imperial Age to kick in so he can get the bombard cannons out. And to stop bombard cannons and Janissaries could be tough. But if you have arms on the field, not as much. The bombard cannons can hit the arbalests, of course, but the arbalests should also have an easy job sniping the Janissaries. Because with arbalest, he will have Bracer, meaning he will have 5+3 as well, and essentially the same range as the Janissaries here. Janissaries moving forward, maybe they will be able to get some hits in on the archers here. Taking some maybe unnecessary fire here. There are some hussars on the field that gets in actually, but won't really do much. Crossbows clean it up. So I guess that engagement was worth it, considering that Maniac isn't in the Imperial Age yet. That should leave young Janissaries still with one more range. Here's the Bomber Cannon out as well, getting a hit on the pikes here, or spears here, which will of course die to the Janissaries. Now some monks on the field to heal up as well. Looks like this could be a deadly push from Accepted here, but at the same time Bracer is coming in for the Vikings player. He's stocking up on military, he has the military lead here. He needs some way to deal with the bombard cannons incoming here. But both players getting lots of upgrades here. We see chemistry kicking in as well. Yeah, nice bombard cannon shot there for Accepted. He gets some crossbows. I guess that was right before they became arms. 45 wall coming in as a defensive measure for Maniac here. But look at the cleanup here. He's getting the Hussars easily with this massive arbalests. He has 13 Janissaries here. So it's yeah, fighting with higher numbers here, but he is to some extent allowing the bomber cannons to get hits in as well. So he's losing all his numbers here. Hussars tanking fire as well. This is nice microplay for Accepted there, sending in the Hussars to tank arrows, letting the Janissaries fire away, and also at the same time adding more bomber cannons. I think it's still on 2 TCs for Accepted, but added some mills for some farms. Now we'll lose lots of Janissaries here to Arbalest, and the eco certainly doesn't support any elite Janissary just yet, and we should be seeing the Viking eco spiking away here significantly. I think it's still 3 TCs for the Vikings player, but he's added 5 farms, added more than just added some mills, and also has a nice safe gold in the back here. So Turks push not working out for Accepted now. He had the earlier imp, but didn't really manage to exploit it that much. Meanwhile, Siege Ram is coming in for Maniac with Siege Ram Arbalest. He should be able to push back Accepted here, although the Hussars could deal with the Siege Ram potentially, but there's quite a few of them by now, and Maniac has the eco to sustain production for a long time here now. Looking at the villager count as well, Maniac with the 121, 15 villager leads, also adding quite a few barracks here, probably wants to opt for some extra pikes and also taking the neutral gold here. So more Hussars are going to be coming for Accepted. I would love to see Accepted tear down the walls and just get some Hussar spam raiding in here, but the Arabs struggling a bit more with Hussars with now what is probably the best upgrades they can get, but at the same time Siege Rams going in for the castle here. Hussars need to address the Siege Rams, and even Hussars need a while to deal with Siege Rams going towards the castle here, so I don't think the castle will go down just now. The Hussars are doing great work here, but at the same time, not having the Hussars as a meat shield, the Arabs are allowed to hit away at Turks player. So the only thing a Maniac needs to do here is starve his opponent of gold, because when Turks are out of gold, they will be more or less useless. But the army numbers scarily high for Accepted here compared to Maniac, who is of course replenishing army as well with Siege Rams Arbalest, but he has 4 ranges and producing out of all 4, but not really able to match the numbers, army numbers of his opponent here. So bomber cannons chasing here, they need to help out dealing with the siege rams here. I think he's lost some bomber cannons here as well to whatever 4 there was, but Hussars raiding on the field, they don't see any neutral gold here, so that's a lack in scouting from Accepted, not having control of all the neutral resources. Siege Rams now moving forward, Janissaries dealing decent damage here, elite Janissaries now actually, so they have extra attack as well. Bomber cannons still being added, but Accepted still struggling with, well, not struggling yet maybe, but he's way behind in eco, is actually, especially considering he's against a Vikings player who is now even able to drop a castle. He's been mining some stone. So a defensive castle could also put a stopper to Janissary's push here, bringing the siege rounds back in actually here. Maybe he wants to lure the enemy close to his base and then drop a castle or something. I don't know what the play was here. Could have been a mistake as well. Bomber cannons getting some hits in now. There's a scary number of elite here in this area here now. It's like 35 of them, and bomber cannon firing away as well will maybe take down this 45 gate. But a nice preemptive defensive castle here on the Eco for Maniac. Won't really stop any Hussar spam from raiding away here, but it will still put a stopper to elite Janissaries with their low HP, will die easily to castle fire, not to mention AUG fire. But look at the siege rounds, significant numbers here. Looks like he wants to send the rounds in front here to block entry through this gate that's about to die here, but bomber cannons are scary. Now another bomber cannon coming on the field as well. Light Cow won't really help outmatch here for Maniac other than as a distraction maneuver here. So siege rounds may be going down yet again here, but still nice value from Maniac. I think siege rounds are expensive, sure, but he cleans up a little bit here. Might be needing to think about taking into Onager maybe. It could be the best play, but then again bomber cannons could snipe Onager, so difficult weighing of options there. Bomber cannons still get some hits in, but for every Janissary's kills means gold lost for accepted here. What I would love to see from Maniac is adding more, maybe more ranges, more any kind of military production building here, because he has the eco to outmass his opponent easily here. Maybe not in Janissary speaking, but I think, yeah. Let's see it, accepted eco. Yeah, he's floating gold, of course. He's dropping another castle, meaning even more elite Janissaries. They are strong for sure, but against Arvest they will still struggle, because Arvest now with chemistry and they have the same range. Pikes on the field for Maniac as well. I bet he has researched unique tech as well, which gives infantry more attack against mounted units. But the clock is ticking for accepted here. At some point he will be running out of gold, and he also has one less relic. He doesn't have all 5 relics. So the KD higher for accepted here, of course, but if he should run out of gold, he will be in serious trouble. Turks are simply too dependent on their gold units. Janissary's doing work here. Look at military count as well, it's 79 to 55, but at the same time it's kind of buying more time for Maniac to get his numbers up, because they aren't directly attacking. The Hussars are tanking fire here, the bomber cannons firing away at the castle now. If Maniac doesn't rush repairs now, he will lose this castle, and that's going to be huge, because then the Janissaries have a free pass in. He will lose the castle there. Does he not have stone to repair? He is not holding a lot of stone. He really needs to repair now, but I don't think he is going to be there in time. He loses the castle. Can't not afford another. He's floating lots of resources. Dropping a castle now out on the field, so that will stop some stone production from accepted here. But accepted now in with the push is losing Janissaries in the choke point here to Owless. This is huge. The Rams are soaking fire, so great defense from Maniac. He could re-wall here now and just not let accepted in as easily again. Pikes on the field yet again, and forcing accepted to withdraw. He is with a less significant eco here. He's probably running out of gold as well. I don't think he has any gold left inside his base. So there's this neutral gold, but what does Turks player do when he's out of gold? This gold is also out of bounds because of Maniac's castle, so maybe it's finally Maniac's time to push back and get these castle downs. Pushing everything grabs, buying himself more time here to maybe get the army lead at some point. Accepted is forced to Hussar spam now. He's floating lots of food here, but his gold is going to run out. That's for sure, and Maniac still has some gold inside his base, so he should be able to have gold further than his opponent. He's also been mining stone here. He could consider even adjusting resource here with market and just buying a castle for himself to be able to get traps out. But siege traps will do work as well. scary amount of elite Janissaries still for accepted here, but for each one he loses, it's expensive and gold heavy to replace them, so he is desperate to keep his masses, so he really can't fight close to castles like this. He can take out the castle, sure, but no need to have the Janissaries close enough to cast and fire here. Looks like Maniacs wants to take a fight here, but I don't think he should against this mass of Janissaries. Nice splitting up the groups here though, getting both the Hussars and the Bomber Guns. Bomber Guns extremely expensive, probably was the most expensive unit in the game. But the threat is out for Maniac, you know, accepted, should be struggling for stone at this point. He will be forced to repair and will definitely not have enough stone for the castle. If he loses the castle, he loses the option for Janissaries as well. Then he's left with Hussars and maybe... yeah, I don't know what kind of units you could of course go for Knights or Cavalier or whatever Turks get. But that won't really do it against significant mass of Arbalest like this. So Arbalest protecting this tribe here. I think still think Maniac needs some onagers to deal with these masses here, because you can get some nice onager hits in on accepted mass of elite Janissaries. It's just going to be so much easier to deal with. Loses the threat to Hussars here, that's bad news for Maniac here, but he's still floating gold. He's mining gold at home. He is quite a few more Arbalists at home, which is good. Seriously consider bringing him to fight now, but look at this, it's 50 elite Janissaries against 20-ish Arbalists now, but the rest of the Arbalists just chilling out at home, but is probably just waiting for more Arbalists. If you had more production buildings like archery ranges, using his wood for that is lots of food of wood now that is basically not using. You could even opt for elite skirmisher here against this mass of elite Janissaries, because you could spam trash literally forever, and he still he already has the upgrades. Of course, Skirms would die to Hussars, so maybe not the greatest idea, but let's say Skirms Pikes is still his option later on for the game. Should he be outmassed here, Maniac still has the better trash, so he will win against Hussars for sure. Bomber Cannons again doing work to accept it here. He's been spending lots of gold and food now. He's literally out of gold sources now, I think, except from the relics. He has none on gold whatsoever, and there really isn't any gold left on the map to take except inside Maniac space. This gold is, yeah, there's 611 gold here as well. Maniac will lose his castle now, but he's also fighting nicely back here. He's getting Hussars. He probably wants stress request for the castle. Hit to the trap is out at this moment, because that will probably die to Hussars here, but he has light cavalry skill as well to tank fire from the opponent's Hussars. So the Arps will yet again get hits in, but look at accepted army mass here. That's still a significant amount of elite Janissaries. There are Hussars, but Maniac, again, he knows that his eco is superior. He knows that if it comes to a trash fight, he will win, because he has more eco, has been floating so much resources, and he only needs to take out the elite Janissaries and starve his opponent off gold, because literally, accepted is running out of gold there. For every gold unit he loses now, maybe most significantly the bomber cannons, he will simply not be able to replenish them. Looks like he's been selling resources here as well to get more gold into the back. That means less Hussar spam in the end as well, although they are queued up. And he's with the massive military leader now. Maniac just lost his relics, and this gate here is open with August this side, and that's huge. That's the Hussars queue to move in, and the raids will come in to harass Maniac's eco very badly here. He doesn't have any pikes at home to deal with this. He would have needed to quick wall, maybe not to let him in here, and there will be so many villagers dead for Maniac now. He is, of course, still floating the resources, so he could deal with the raids. He could opt for a counter-attack somehow. The castles are weak. This one is not weak. It's full HP, but look at the villager counts going down here. Maniac 104 now. Will be losing even more. This is like almost 20 Hussars raiding around his eco, and literally no defense. Sending in some pikes now and skirms. They won't really deal with Hussars, unfortunately. So looks very bad for Maniac now. The bomber cannons are in, the elite Janissaries are in. I think Maniac will lose this one. even after having starved his opponent out of resources. There's literally no gold left for accepted here, but a massive display with Turks anyway for Arena. Civ Draft working out greatly for him so far. Look at the build counts just subsiding here, 60. There's even the town bell is ranked to try and secure the last few villagers, but I think this is over for Maniac, unfortunately. He tries to migrate, he could get the remove going, he still is floating more resources than his opponent, he even still has gold in the bank. But where does he attack? There are castles on the field still, so he drops the TC here, but there are hussars on the field to deal with that. The pillar count is down to 48 here. And he literally has no military left, and look, the Janissaries is firing away now, except he could even go for the relics here and secure the last 3 relics for himself. Yeah, this doesn't look too pretty for Maniac, and now down to 37 builds, and accepted takes the game up to 2-0. Let's have a look at the stats here. Accepted actually with this, I think he never went for the third TC, I think he's stuck with 2 TCs with Turks here. Making use of the neutral resources, of course, using castle for map control. And stables, the 3 hussars really worked out for him here. He of course got the upgrades as and used them as a meat shield and to protect bomber cannons and Janissaries the whole way. And look at the KD as well, 668 to 384 in the end, so these Janissaries are really powerful combination here, largest army 100, simply impressive there. And food collected, that's of course the hussar spam, you need lots of food for that. I think he had like, yeah, 60, almost 70 of food in the end. Should have come to a trash fight, he would only have the hussars, so... But here we go, and technology, he was much earlier to Castle Age, that should pay out. If the Vikings player had been up at roughly the same time, that could have made his eco advantage even larger. And the goal is a little more for the Vikings player, who did succeed in capturing 3 of their relics. So he denied 3 relics of his Turkish opponent, as you should on Arena. So now let's move on to the third game. We will be seeing Maniac's second home map. They have a map and civ drafting. No, civ drafting. I'm not sure about the maps. I guess they just pick home maps as they go. But for now, didn't launch just yet. Let's just have a little look at the brackets here to see their seedings. So actually, Maniac, who is down to 0, he is the higher seed of this series. And the real difference is roughly 50, is nothing as huge here. But we see Maniac has also taken out higher seeded players earlier on here, and yeah, has been playing performing nicely all the way. Also these games, of course, we've been defending nicely, but still it's been accepted having the upper end, maybe having more success with this civ draft overall here. So I'll just keep refreshing here to see if anything comes up. There we go. So we have Maniac's second home map. He seems to enjoy closed map because now he has picked Hideout for his home map. So we'll be seeing Portuguese versus Burmese for this one. goal. Let's just fast forward a little bit to catch up with the live action here. So, Maniac with the Portuguese, one of their unique strengths in Imperial is to add Fetorius for basically free resources. But they're a unique unit, not to be messed with here. Organ guns, I've seen a game of Hideout already where organ guns dominated against Burmese. So we have Burmese, also with a strong unique unit in the Arambai, which is basically a cavalry archer with melee attack. And he's going by, thinking the both players will go for fast castle here, but also the Burmese, they have men-at-arms with +1 attack in each age. Just have a quick look at the text here. See infantry, +1 attack per age, starting in field age, which means Burmese are also a strong civ to go for a men-at-arms tower play on a map like Hideout. And men-at-arms towers would be just beautiful here, because all of Maniac's inside resources, stone and gold, are almost within tower range already from this side. Of course, that's not something that Accepted will be able to see by scouting early on, but should he push with the towers and get inside to scout this, then he will certainly be able to make lots of damage with the infantry and tower push here. So both players pretty even. Not much signs of idle time here, and so good Dark Age play for now, dropping the mill here. Maniac, he also has his hunt right next to his mill there, so that's very fortunate for him. That goes actually for the other player as well, so the map chance in that sense is pretty mirrored, I would say. This host placement is maybe actually suboptimal in terms of mining gold efficiently here. The best would have to have it as secure as possible. Would have it to mining camp back here, right, to mine the gold. But now he might be forced to drop the mining camp here, just within tower range of if his opponent should opt for any offensive towers. But we are going through the ages here. I'm going to try and pay attention to the Burmese player if he goes to wood here. Is 4 wood for now, dropping another one on berries. Still looking kind of like a... No, he's going for the boar, of course. Still looking like a pretty classic fast castle play here, and unfortunately for him, in the fast speed here, loses the boar lure first move, and now shoots the boar right between the TC and mill. So these villagers will likely go to the mill to drop us this food, so that will be not ideal for our Burmese player. He's going very heavily on the berries here, not going for the hunt yet, but he's going heavily on food. Again, probably suggesting a fast castle play, but also 4 on wood. Meanwhile, Maniac is gathering the hunt. That's food that's gathered quicker, so that shows also in the resources here with his 14 on food and Accepted. It's 15 on food. Maniac is still floating more food because the hunt is simply gathered quicker, but Accepted could go for this as well. Is of course gathering hunt from the wild boar here, will maybe be going to the deer as well. It's actually pushing them kind of towards the TC and mill here, so you could multitask a bit here and kill one near the mill and one near the TC, but goes for the sheep as well. Let's have a look at his food count as well. Their food counts are pretty similar now. None of them are going for any food age action here because they're already at 23 villagers, so this will be the fast castle play from both, and yeah, strongest player wins. So now with his 26th and 27th villager, Maniac will be going to gold. And both players exactly similar uptimes here, so that's a sign of little idle time for both. And they're both going for the 26 pop up here. Both civs with no direct eco bonus, at least not in field age. Burmese, they get lumber camp upgrades for free in the field and castle age, so that's huge for them. You don't even really need to take that in the next age. But Portuguese, no eco bonuses, but they're gold units, they cost less, so any gold unit, meaning knights, siege, archers, are cheaper for Maniac. Let's see if he will explode this. All units cost 20% less gold, So look at the Men-at-Arms as well. So Men-at-Arms often could actually be strong for Portuguese as well, but maybe not on a host map like this. So literally same uptime for both players here. Let's see their food counts and resources. Looks like Accepted is floating a better food eco overall here though, but he had 3 villagers working on the smith. I don't know if that was intentional enough, because now this market will be slightly delayed. But he has enough resources overall, so he will easily get to the castle age here. And Maniac as well, now releasing his second villager, missing a little bit of food, so a little bit of idle time there after the buildings are completed, but directly up clicks will literally be the same again. So these players really going for the same play here, going to the next age at the same pop, and there's only 3% difference between the two. A little bit more idle time for Maniac here, but nothing significant overall. Now Accepted going heavily on stone, maybe going for the offensive castle drop here, or start securing his own base and producing iron buy from home. Scout fight here. Maniac gets the first hit, so if it comes to a scout fight, he would win it, but Accepted dodges, they run in H direction. Maniac with a score lead here, that could be scouting. He's been running the long way around to find his opponent. So I'm curious to see what the players are going for. The Portuguese player not going, well, he has a mining camp on stone. He may have needed to transition to food or something to be able to click up. Now hold on, he has enough stone for a castle here, so they will both be going for kind of a castle drop. So Maniac, you could easily line this goal with a forward castle, but maybe they'll both just stay on the defensive. Defensive castle for Maniac, so he doesn't want to let the Armby have an easy time getting in on this side, which is closest to his opponent. What about Accepted here? He is not going for the immediate castle drop, he's actually going for the TC drop first. He could drop another one as well with his resources. He could actually drop 4 TCs or 3 extra TCs here totally if he wanted to. He's still heavy on stone, so he should be having eco for the castle soon enough anyway. And maybe want to secure this stone for another castle later on. But the castle will be going up from here. Means he will have the unique unit out earlier. He could be going straight for the organ guns here. Here comes the castle drop, secures both the base resources here and the stone. Nice placement, I would say, near the walls here. Needs to delete some walls to let the villagers work here, but of course securing the position is nice there. But meanwhile, Maniac is increasing his army numbers. So he has organ guns in queue already, at least one, and Scout is out here for Accepted. He will see the castle, he will probably die to castle fire here now. But no ballistics obviously, so the castle doesn't get any significant hits just yet, but weakens Scout a little bit. But of course now the most significant input has been gathered for Accepted. He knows the organ guns are coming. 4 organ guns, not sure how much that will be doing alone, especially not with any defense here, but sending some villagers to accompany them, maybe wants to drop some extra siege or something, maybe barracks or any kind of building to deal with that. But meanwhile there are Airby in the queue for Accepted. Let's see, Airby looks like Airby are also yeah, armor production ceased a little bit for Maniac here. Looks like the organ guns are also being created slightly bit slower than the Airby. Some organ guns forward now, ready to attack. This palisade gate will go down quickly actually, so Maniac could cause some serious damage here, but there are Airby for Accepted as well. He's about to get his 4th one out. House walls coming up here, I don't think it will be enough. Just freeing up space here. Maniac is also adding forward siege. Looks like he's no rookie to Portuguese play on hideout. So TC fire shooting at the organ guns here doesn't do too much for now. But there are 6 armor by against 6 organs. The armor by should win this. Or maybe not. Losing armor by numbers here. So the organ just getting some significant hits. Nice staying in the choke point between the opening here as well. And the armor by go down. So that leaves Maniac with 11 win-3. Adding a ram as well. He has massive amounts of organ guns now suddenly. So that's no easy task to deal with. I think the best option would be Siege Workshop and a Mangonel at this point and get weakened more than at once. So organ guns protecting the forward ram here. Look at the scores here, pretty even. Villager count, less for Maniac is sticking with 1 TC push, so that's also significant. Accepted only needs to hold here at this moment if he can keep his villager production at or keep his villager lead, but it's looking tough to defend against organ guns and rams at this point. The armor by can handle the rams, sure, but if the armor by fires at the rams, the organ guns fire at the armor by. And this TC will surely go down. That leaves Accepted with 1 TC here. He's dropping a defensive castle now, but will it go up? Rams coming forward, Organs coming forward, so you should be able to get some serious hits in on the villagers here. By here as well, 8 by should be dealing with Rams. Nice split there. I think the Organs have... Oh, the castle goes up. Oh, rushing the castle up with so many villagers here, but that pays off for Accepted here. Chases off the Organ, gets some kills now. It's 13 villagers to 7 here now for Maniac, who's also dropped a forward TC on his opponent's gold here. Because why not? But again, keeping the iron by numbers down of his opponent, but there's 2 castles to produce iron by now for Accepted, who still has access to his gold being protected by castle, so he will have numbers. He will, however, not be able to repair the castle forever. He has a market he could buy stone to repair, but that would also impair his production here. So Maniac chooses to leave his ram there to attack the castle, do as much damage as possible, maybe force some repairs, but meanwhile pulls back the organ guns and waits for more numbers. Will he be able to drop a second castle as well? That's the question. He's at 451 stone now, he's running out of stone in his base, but once this is depleted he will be able to afford another castle. Eco looks decent as well, except now dropping a TC again to extend his villager count again, and he's still impressively enough with the villager lead here, even after losing quite a bit. But these organ guns now should die to the iron by, because the iron by simply outnumber them, but get some serious weakening shots in here still. I don't know where this guy is going, maybe to distract some fire, but each shot here deals quite a bit of damage here. Yeah, Iron by now chasing the organ guns. It's 14 Iron by now. Still taking significant damage, and Scorp is added for Maniac. Should also help. They also deal, what should we say, splash damage kind of. They could shoot through units and damage more units at once. So Scorpions, organ guns, expensive but potentially efficient combo. But you need more numbers to take a fight like this. This will be Maniac's fight to lose. He has just too few numbers here, although he weakens the Iron by again, of course. And now the Iron by take the choke point, but don't really suffer too much from that. Organ guns numbers go down against only 2 military for Maniac against 20 from Accepted, who could still break in on this side, although Maniac has wisely housed wall up against the sides here, so it's not making it too easy for the Iron by to get in here, but sending him 1 organ gun at a time should mean that the Iron by could snipe this one as well easily. So it should be 2 organ guns lost here, unless Accepted is just passing. Alright. Yeah, puts the organs back, so the flow of Iron by here. But look at the defensive castle from Maniac here. This should limit any damage the Iron Bite can do, and although Maniac is forced on the offensive now, the damage has been done. The village counts are pretty much the same, even though Maniac has been on 1 TC the whole time, so that's an accomplishment right there. Some organs at work here. I think this castle actually won't go up, unless Maniac commits more villagers to work here. So now Accepted is on the run here, get some kills in. He's desperate to stop this castle from coming up, but he will lose numbers to Organ Guns here again. Commits to a few more villagers here, maybe not when this one out, but then this time it's Accepted losing a significant number forward. And then it doesn't take a 2-year loss here. He looks like he wants to send a lot of villagers forward now. Is he going for the neutral gold here? Okay. So he cleans up the Iron Bite, he's going for 2 neutral golds here. And shouldn't have any issues completing his castle. He's probably sending 1 here to finish the castle and then to the gold. Now it's going straight for the gold. So doesn't rush to forward the defensive castle here. Meanwhile, he's leaving his opponent with time to get Iron Bite out, but Imperial Age, still with only 1 TC, is coming in for Maniac. So seems like a risky move, but he will have castles at home. We need to try and bring traps the long way around, but look at this, bringing scorpions in here. Would we get heavy scorpion, by the way, with Portuguese? I need to check that, because I don't know. No, only scorpions, not heavy scorpion. But scorpions here could bring organ guns in as well. But going to Imperial Energy is a huge investment. How's Accepted's eco behind this? He could go imp pretty soon as well. He really hasn't committed to repairing this castle, so that could be hurtful for him. But he's of course losing Iron Bite from both castles here, getting house for a little moment here, but will probably rush some houses up soon enough. So Maniac with some organ guns out, but not really keeping them together moving forward. He has a total of 9 now, then some Scorps, so he really needs to hold off the fight until he has them collected at the very least. Can he afford any elite upgrade? He's massing organ guns now, is dropping a university. So he wants to get Arquebus, I guess, for from Portuguese here to get gunpowder units more accurate. That's basically ballistics for gunpowder units. So if he now gets chemistry in as well, he will be able to have bomber guns that hit literally anything, and he has decent numbers of army here now as well. This 27 to 26 army here, but that's also Imperial Age coming in for Accepted as well, who's been holding nicely here, all things considered, extending his farming eco, now dropping a barracks. I think Accepted needs some defensive siege now. Mangonel maybe Onager is out of the question due to his eco, but preemptive house walls here to keep or delay the aggression from his opponent here. Accepted does have a villager lead, so KD is pretty similar here. And going up at 10 more villagers should give him a better eco, but he needs to split up and deal some serious damage. And look at those scorpions and organ guns doing serious work against the Iron Bite here. 23 Iron Bite now, but dealing work. Organs cost wood and gold as well, so this is a nice trade for Accepted, cleaning up this forward of Maniac. Imperial Age kicks in. He is dealt with all of the organs by now, killing the reinforcements. He's been noticing this flow of reinforcements coming in, but when they come in one at a time like this, they will die to the Iron Bite. You need organ guns in massive groups, otherwise you're screwed. Now wants to take out the siege here. I'm a bit surprised to see Accepted not hunting the flow of reinforcements coming in here. He could have gotten even more kills here, but now his opponent comes forward with a forward castle drop. Could even afford another castle. So with castleless cover fire for the organ guns here, it makes it the pushing back a lot harder for Accepted. Accepted has also extended to the neutral golds here, not really opting for the relics. One relic for Maniac though. So he's been not been neglecting that either, but here comes the forward castle. He could get Trebs out for accepted as well, so he should be able to deal with the forward castle here, I think. But you still need to deal with the organ gun masses, and now there are 3 castles potentially producing organ guns for Maniac here. Organ guns doing work again, getting some hits in here on the iron bar, but a significant number of iron bar as well. It's 30 iron bar against 14 organ guns, shouldn't be impossible there. I think Maniac goes straight for the traps here, but look at the iron bar again, cleaning up the organ guns here, but Maniac still with the healthy eco is impressive enough, still on 1 TC, playing against at least 2 TCs, so okay, so they're not too heavy on the booming side here. Maniac just adjusted his eco a little bit. I think he sold wood to afford more gold units here. Yeah, looks like the market has been used. But critical mass of organ guns is vital, and he will be losing his forward castle now, so sending reinforcements in from this castle will be out of the question. It's 3 threads firing away, iron by now going for the villager raids. I'm not too sure about that. They will be taking damage from the organ guns meanwhile, but splitting up its micro definitely here and at different organ guns. I think this is micro and not just patrolling here. Gets some nice instance, still replenishes iron buy from home as well. And Maniac just with a slight villager lead here now, losing all of his forward here. He's only left with the siege workshop now. He could soon drop another castle, but he would need to buy stone or buy stone to do so, and he's going for the stone here. But I think Maniac is still suffering from the fact that he's been on 1 TC the whole way. That supports more army production, but the eco hurts you in the long run. Let's look at accepted eco as well. It's not looking great either, but now here comes the defensive castle from accepted. It will go up because there aren't any organ guns left to deal with this. This monk is probably going for the relic in the corner. He's the old man here. It's in a bit of a danger. So Maniac very likely to lose all his forward villagers here. Look at the villager counts as well, 101 to 82 here, 16 idols for Maniac as well. And reinforcements being hunted down by accepted here, who's bringing quite a few villagers forward, but not in any position to drop a castle. Yet again needs to deal with organ guns here, but he splits up or patrols, whatever he's doing, it's working decently for him. Brings down the numbers 23 to 9 now, backs off, needs more numbers again, but brings the threads forward. Slow but patient push here from accepted, who is now left with a massive score lead of above 2000. And KD 146 to 104, so his iron by not optimal against organ guns it seems, but still dealing damage. But look at him massing up all of his army now, 17 against 6, and organ guns forced to pull back towards castle. The iron by have buildings, bonus attack against buildings, so they could clean up these rangers while the traps deal with the castle. So accepted, struggling for gold here. I think he could consider selling some wood at this point. He is also now left with enough stone to drop a what should be a forward castle, I believe. But sends the iron bay forward, kills villagers, kills organ guns at 100 to 76. But the defensive castle Maniac goes down, and what does he do then with his 1 TC? Not really in a position to reboom here. He has villagers here and there, but he's down 25 villagers already. Now it's accepted with more of the islands here, but should certainly deal with ranges here as well. I don't think skirms will be enough for Maniac here, and 1 organ gun coming out of time isn't really gonna help Maniac here, unfortunately. So 3 traps firing away doesn't really address the fact that there are ranges here. Go straight in for the raid instead, and the GG is called. So GG well played. I'd say, all things considered, that these players are really evenly matched, but it's accepted taking the 3-0 nevertheless. So strong performance there, but it's not like it was an easy 3-0 for accepted. He met some resistance here. Quick look at stats. And I'll be going back to the step that I started before this live session. So, massive eco for accepted overall. He was on 2 TCs after all. Technically 3 because he lost 1 to the siege or forward of Maniac, but Maniac's forward 1 TC all in push. In the end, didn't work out for him, unfortunately. Still cool to see Portuguese picked on a map like this and Oregon guns in play. You don't see it a lot in 1v1s. And look at these uptimes here, how similar they are, both with 26 pop up to Castle Age and even Imperial Age, pretty similar here. And villager high, so I'd say these players are somewhat evenly matched. Now I'll be moving back to the set that was casted earlier, so we will be going to Banstenak versus Man's Really Not Hot, and their game number 2. So this is also the Adept division of the Necropolis Grail. It's a different quarterfinal between Banstenak and Man's Really Not Hot. So we saw Man's Really Not Hot winning the first game on Graveyards with the Mayans as his civ against Banstenak's Japanese, and here we go with Banstenak's home map. So Banstenak picked Italians for this matchup on Baltic. So a hybrid map here, but with very significant water. So whoever controls water has access to lots of food, not to mention the fish boom later on. And Man's Really Not Hot choosing Portuguese for this one. Also a strong water civ, considering all gold units of the Portuguese. They cost 20% less gold, and also their army on... they have a unique unit, Caravel, I believe, and... yeah, and ships +1/+1 armor, that's a unique tech you could get later on. But ships also +10 HP, so that leaves them with an advantage already from the feudal age fighting. So looking at the resource spawns here, what's good to see for Man's Really Not Hot here is that all of his golds and stones are in the back here. They are virtually not reachable from the water. So that's good news for him. It's not too bad for Banstenak either. He has the gold and stone in the back here, another stone and the gold, but then there's this neutral gold and arguably this one as well, the neutral one, that is subject to galley fire. At least in the Imperial Age, this one's usable. This one should be able to be hit even by feudal age galleys, I think. So, but that's probably solved by going for the main gold and this side gold first, and you won't risk being harassed on water. So Mansanak finds 2 sheep of his opponent. No, sorry, Mansfield on top. I heard a scout sound, sorry. Brings in his own sheep here. And they're both just scouting their home bases for now. So looks like they're able to find their core resources here. And I will be fast forwarding a bit to reach the... Oh, let me add the civs command here once more. Well, I'm gonna go fast forward a little bit to see if we can catch up with some game action maybe into later. So dropping the docks here, Mansfield Hot first with the dock here actually. Could be it's, I don't know who's the more experienced water player here. You'll see in a minute, both players adding fish. 2 fish immediately by Banslack here. Italians with the advantage on the maps like these that their fuel age at times are cheaper, so they should be able to get to the next stage more quickly because of that. So the scout, the Banslack, gets some early advantage here. He picks off a villager, but is friendly enough to not steal the sheep, but just send them straight to his opponent's TC here. Fuel age in for both players, but it's going to be significantly earlier for Banslack here. He's been reaching the fuel age at just about 10 minutes with his 23 pop. Probably went for a 21 pop up or so here. And already has 2 dogs preparing fire galleys with mRNH with only 1 dog. Probably about to drop his second one now, but he will already be behind in army numbers on water here. So 2 dogs up for our Portuguese friend here as well. This Q3 fire galleys, but he needs to be patient here, not bring them out right at once here. He might or might not lose some fish here with nice awareness there, pulling them away. Meanwhile, gathering some scouting intel this side. Does unfortunately not see the dock going up here from Bansanak. Could have delayed that at the very least. That's the 3rd dock going up from Bansanak. Should give him even more of a numbers advantage on water. The fishing ship being pulled away here, but wisely on mRNH here not to engage at all just yet. He's stocking up on fire galleys in the docks here and wants to get the numbers up before engaging. But looking at the build tree, and let's look at the ship's count as well. It's 4-2 here between the 2 players. So leaves Mansfield not in a bit of a pickle here. Of course, nice of Bansanaks to go straight for the fishing ships as well, because the Italians ships, they are cheaper. The fish boom can be amazing, so any fishing ship you can pick up is good news for you. But Feigal is going out for Mansfield not hot here. He's going for the chase. No, he's not. He's pulling the fishing ships away. And Bansanak also gathering up on his forwards here. He's now with 5 fire ships total here, fire galleys against 4. So once it comes to a fight, it's going to be mRNH at a disadvantage here. Still only on 2 docks. Even with cheaper ships, it's going to be tough to keep up with the production here. Let's look at Pansnaks. They are both with the same amount of villagers on gold, at least a bit fewer on wood for mRNH. But he chases here, will get a kill. So nice job there. Now with 5 fire guns forward, and Bansanak is forced to retreat here. Let's see, 1 fire galley forward, looking maybe for the reinforcement, but it's MRH with numbers on water here. Meanwhile, a bit of scouting going on land here for kind of both players here. It looks like MRNH's eco is decent so far. It's already out of the farm with preemptive measure since he's losing fish. We see Bansanak with less resources in the bank here, but with 3 dogs producing and constantly replenishing numbers. Needs to keep his army connected here though, and he pulls them back. could maybe pull away the weak ship now and save it, but gets 2 kills here. KD 7-2 for Bansenak here, so he's at this point he's honestly dominating water. He will lose some fish here, but that's not really a big deal because he will have the water control, and looks almost like MRNH is bailing on water right now. He sees that water might be lost here. He's vastly outnumbered. Let's have a look at the ships count here. It's 10-4. Not a pretty number to see, being the one with the lower army numbers here. Also surprised to see none of them going for the wall off on the sides, so land action is not out of the question here. That could be a way back for MRNH now, walling off to the shore here. A wall that could have been arguably more efficient here by going simply into this stretch. You will, while walling to the shoreline, you will be subject to ship's fire anyway. And here the scout sees the wall off coming as well, so the blacksmith walling going on there brings in his own scout though, but it's weaker than Bansenak's. And Bansenak is hunting for the walling villager on land, might actually succeed in finding it here. No, pulls away in a different direction, so he's fine for now, but now with all of his army on water forward, this is almost to the point of over-investment here, but should show pure water domination here. Is still adding ships on water for Bansenak. He really desperate for that water control, but this could, all in all, could actually delay his castle age uptime. I mean, investing a little bit less in water could mean more efficient ships or more eco on land and going for the earlier castle age trick, but it looks like with the Italian cheaper at times, Bansenak should still potentially be the first one going to the next age here. With an 11-4 KD, now taking out the second dock of his opponent. Meanwhile, MRNH going for some land aggression on the right hand side here. So he's walling off the left and he's going for aggression on the right. So, but Bansenak on the alert here. He's scouted some house at the very least here on the side. So let's see if he also spots some military buildings. He sees the barracks. Must know that his opponent is up to something here. Also, he's on the way to the castle age himself, with MRNH lagging a bit behind here, but he should be also be clicking the next age soon enough. He's sending forward some archers. Archers unfletched though, so going forward without any upgrades here. Bansenak not with fletching either, maybe he doesn't even have any. Yeah, he has the blacksmith. But the galleys seeing the archers here, so surprise element is gone here for MRNH, even an outpost up for Bansenak here. He wants that map vision, wants to know what's going on and to keep perfect track of any military advance here. And MRNH only with 5 on food here, with adding a lot of farms here now. Could be seeing castle age soon as well, but the farming eco needs to kick in here. Meanwhile, Bansenak is walling off, and the archers won't really find a way through here. Isn't scouted to this side, goes towards the walling. If he's there in time, could stop these walls from going up, but then again there's galleys here to provide cover fire for the villager. So we need to split our attention here, deal with the galley or deal with the villager. This is a weak galley, so the archers could take this one out. Maybe move a little bit around here and dodge the shots, and you should be okay with it. So still there's only 4 archers. So this is very limited forward now. Knows the gold is here, needs to be careful not to run into TC, which he knows is here. Gathering points dangerously close to TC here, might lose to TC fire now. So that's an unsuccessful forward, unfortunately, losing a couple of archers to TC fire here, while the gold could have been hit here. But the GG is called, understandably enough, losing water, not successful on the land forward here. Brings the set to 2-2 between these players in a quick game here. Not to 2-2 obviously, but to 1-1. So quick look to the stats once again. I'm mixing up the words here. 17 to 7 KD, but look at the production here. Bansenak in the area in castle age, MRNH still in fuel, not in the castle age yet. No market here to adjust eco, so he was forced to either idle production and go try to get to castle age, or just try to claim some land control, which he unfortunately didn't succeed with in his forward here. So income much more wood for Bansenak. That says something about the army investment on water. Otherwise, not too dissimilar here. So nice transition into food econ land for mRNH here. But the cast stage being key here, and mRNH not able to get there even with the higher villager count in the end. So now we're moving to mRNH home map here. It's going to be Arena. So it's Arena for us now. We had Bansanak here playing as the Burmese. Frequently chosen Arena civ. They have the armbar, we just saw them on the hideout game as well. So they have armbar with a strong attack versus buildings and generally good raiding forward attacking unit. But preferably since Burmese have very limited defense against archers, for example, you don't never go Archer Alliance Burmese because they have only the first armor upgrade. So you usually commit to armor the unique unit, or you could even go elephants because they have a unique tech for the elephants as well, battle elephants with more armor. But the most common play is see a castle drop and armor or a monk siege push because the monks are also very good for Burmese. Meanwhile, we have a strong monk civ on the other side for mRNH here with Aztecs. So Aztecs, great skirmishers, won't really play in this matchup, but you have the monks that get even more HP for every tech you get for the Aztecs monks, and Aztecs also get extra gold from picking up the relics. So Aztecs player will for sure try to contest the relics early on and get that extra 33% gold per relic. If you can get all 5, that's going to be huge. But he will be likely to be fighting some strong early push from the Burmese player here. Wouldn't be too surprised to see a 1 TC all-in push from Bansanak here, but remains to be seen, of course, if he chooses to boom up a little bit first. I'll be fast-forwarding a little bit just to see if there's any feud late action here, or if they're just going straight for the fast castle bottom. Villager counts seem pretty even here, so just remains to be seen who will be going up to the next stage first. Looks like a bit more efficient resource income for Bansanak here, floating more food. But he is up against the civ with an eco bonus. Aztecs bring in 5 more resources per trip, so to say. But Bansanak already going to the stone in the Dark Age here, so it could even be a Men-at-Arms Towers push from Bansanak here, but too few villagers for that, of course. But committing heavily to stone here, so I think he's going for the castle drop. He will be later to the feudal age, but he will probably be aiming to be earlier to the castle age overall. It's only 24 pop for mRNH here. Could be enough still with Aztecs only 1 gold. That's the extra intake of resources doing wonders for the Aztecs player here, dropping the blacksmith market, but might be struggling with the food here to click up on time as he brings out. Let's see the buildings going up here. Yeah, he will definitely be struggling for food here, unless he market abuses a little bit to get enough gold and food here. So a little bit of idle time here. Garrisoning villagers, still missing the 5 gold. Might need to 4-stroke gold as well, but here's the castle age click for mRNH as Bansanak hits the feudal age at his 27 pop. So it's a 26 pop castle age for mRNH, should be 29 for Bansanak here then. He will not have any idle time upon clicking up, but he will be later to the castle age, so that could pose troubles for at least for an offensive castle drop, but there's no rule that says you need to drop the castle forward, obviously. So let's just see him getting up to the next age as well and see if he sends villagers forward or if it's just a defensive castle here. Now close enough stone even to drop another TC. But it looks like he wants to get 2 castles up fairly early on here, but not really floating a lot of food and gold here. Here comes the first castle. mRNH already with some presence on land here with the 2 eagle scouts here. Just looking for him out. He's scouting. He hears the Castle Age coming in here, so he goes straight to see if his enemy is going for a forward castle, which is not going to be the case. It's yeah, no movement forward here. The castle is defensive. Bounce-Snack also. I need to toggle the other player here. Let's see on his resources. Dropping a second castle. So 2 castles early on for Bounce-Snack here. Both on the defensive side, but that should also be protecting from any whatever forward the Aztecs player would try on. He will need to be to Imperial Age to challenge 2 defensive castles like this. So really wants the arm by protection to kick in here. Should be able to drop even another TC soon here. And his Aztec counterpart here, dropping his 3rd TC right now, so his military count should be spiking up to the skies here, although he's idling one of them at the moment. Might be struggling a little bit with the food income. Could use a market if he had one to adjust gold eco and make sure that all TCs are producing, but once the farm eco kicks in, it shouldn't be an issue anyway. But putting up the TCs, sure, they work as a defensive measure, but if you're not producing out of all 3 of them, maybe you should just consider delaying one of them until you know you have food eco to sustain all of them. So there are 16, 17 farms here. Should be enough for 3 DC production, but needs a little bit of time for the farms to kick in still. But here we go, the 3 villagers production here. Bounce-Snack meanwhile staying on his 1 TC, 2 castles here, but producing Arabai out of both. So if Emerald Niche is going strictly for the boom here, that could be severely punished by Bounce-Snack here. There is a range up for Emerald Niche, not to mention the monastery as well, so Monk and Archer's defense could work kind of, but it's 10 to 5 military already, so if Bounce-Snack gets a critical mass early enough, this could be very tough for Emerald Niche to deal with. Oh, nice monk pick off there from Bounce-Snack. But Eagle Scout following the forward to some extent here. At least sees one of the units going forward. Here come the Army ready to break through into Emerald Niche's base. So defensive siege workshop coming up. Could work, of course, if you can get the Magellan hits in, but the problem with siege workshop or 6 units is that Armby have a bonus against buildings, so they actually melt siege pretty quickly, so you'll probably not get more than 1 hit in here. But Stonewall's going up as well. Anything to delay the forward from Bounce-Snack here, but Stonewall will go up, then he could go straight for the house and run into MRNH's eco here. So I don't think MRNHS was... yeah, he was able to secure 2 relics actually, so he did take that map control. Monk is on the field, will die to Armby fire here before he gets a conversion. Now Eagle Scout is down as well, and this massive amount of Armby is pretty scary already. So only 7 villagers, 7 farmers working for Bounce-Snack, but seems still to be enough to sustain decent 2 castle production of Armby here, and I don't really see how MRNH deals with this. His siege workshop will go down to Armby fire hit. They have bonus against buildings after all. And then there are 2 CCs here, but what do? You're on the book, you have barely any army at all. It's 4 army against 27 at the 23-minute mark here. So two castle production for Bounce-Snack skirms on the move here, but they are a few late skirms, so they could easily be targeted as well. I think Bounce-Snack could go straight for the... even without any... I don't think he has blacksmith upgrade. Here he comes actually, the blacksmith upgrade. So, but I think you could go straight for the TC now, because with the 25 Armby hitting away at the TC, not really much left for MRH to deal with those guys. Could also deny army production here, and now could take out this range. So nice map awareness from Bounce-Snack here, going straight for the production, just limiting any defensive measure here. MRH's only option is to flee, he's going towards this TC, could drop another one in the back here and delay here, but looks like it's just delaying the inevitable now. Archer range goes down, monastery not being prioritized here, another siege workshop, but it's just being constantly denied by Vansnak here, and it looks like MRNH will actually lose his first home map here. So Arabai not caring about TC Fire at this point, it's such a huge mass here. And yeah. TC goes down, defensive castle trying to be forced up by MRNH here, but if Vansnak just patrols or splits up his army a little bit here, or even just goes straight for the castle foundation. No, I don't think you can do that in time, but this looks like a massive commitment for MRNH. He might get the castle out, but he's lost one TC already. He's not producing. He's producing villagers out to 2 TCs. He has this one in the back as well. But producing so many villagers here, and simply forced to call the GG, unfortunately. So Aztecs didn't work out for him in this one. Looks like Vansnak knew exactly what to do here. Picked a civ that could go for some serious early action here and get through the walls somewhat easily, and leaves his opponent with no chance for this one. Means we'll be going to the second home map of MRNH here. KD pretty impressive here, 46 to 10, largest army 35 to 6, denying any army expansion from his opponent here, Vansnak. So very well played indeed. So uptime a bit later to castle for Vansnak here, but both castles on the defensive and the extra villagers giving him more eco to sustain constant unit production. And you see the army numbers here just ever growing in the end here, and it's the game at 26-25, rather quick arena game. So brings the set to 2-1, just get me a moment to restart the game just to make sure it doesn't crash, because when you've been running for a while and doing replays like this, it tends to bug out. So I'll be right back with the next game between these two players. So here we are for the second home map of MRNH here. So we have Malay for Vansnak here, and Britons for MRNH. the map is Hideout, another closed off map. mRNH seems to enjoy these kinds of maps. Looks like a decent map, gentlemen. Unfortunately, the deer right outside, but that's on DE. That's the case for both players when this happens. There's no unfairness there, so to speak. So Malay here with the earlier uptime are maybe likely to go for some early archers or what. Could even go for a tower rush early on since you have that early uptime working for you. Remains to be seen. So at the moment let's just do a bit of fast forward here and see if we see any feudal action or if it's just plain fast cattle from both players. So you see a bit of deer pushing here from mRNH. Keeps the cow in the gate here to be able to push in the deer, but always with this pathing with these units with trees in the way and everything, it's not always as easy to get in. To get some inside, there's some bonus food income already. And looks like Bansanak wants to do the same thing, keeping the cow in the gate here and pushing in a few deer just to reinforce that food income. The villager count is in mRNH's favor though. He's had slightly bit less idle time and would surely be benefiting from that. Looks like it's fast castle though. It's 7 on wood by now, 8 on wood, 9. I think he's going for the 10 on wood now, probably going to gold with his few more. From the looks of it, both players may be committing to archers here, but it's a pretty early feudal age for mRNH here with this 24 pop up. That could, unless he's able to punish his opponent significantly here, that could be hurtful. Also, Bonsnak going up at 28 pop, but with the melee faster uptime, he will not be that far behind after all. So a bit more farms for Bonsnak than for mRNH, but still their eco setups look somewhat similar. It's a blacksmith market for mRNH. No, sorry, blacksmith range for mRNH. And yeah, this time has the food and gold to go straight up to the next age. So the pushing in all the deer certainly did wonders for him here. Bonsnak hits the feudal age at his 28 pop here, is it? Maybe it was, and now getting a few more villagers up and drops barracks and a blacksmith. Actually now missing the range as stable it is. Okay, so could it be a melee elephant masterpiece here from Batsanak? Or is it just scouts for map control? Remains to be seen, but his castle age will be... It will be behind mRNH, but nothing too significant. I think he's now kicking up right now, but he's advancing a lot faster with melee, and he has 4 more pop going up, so this could prove very significant for his eco or whatever push he has planned. He is pretty heavy on gold and food now. So, and also going for the armor here, so could it be the elephants we will be seeing here? That's certainly a decent answer to, yes, another stable going up. That's certainly a decent answer to any archer forward. And hiding the production here from mRNH. mRNH shouldn't be able to see the stables here even with this cancellation asset. And look at the elephants here from Bonsnak. So Bonsnak is up 2 to 1 here, so he can afford doing the more risky plays. Looks like he's committing to the 1 TC all in, lots of elephants push here. Could be, I wouldn't say 20 elephants in 20 minutes, but it's not far off. He already has a total of 5 of them in queue. And now dropping a market as well, maybe to sell some stone or whatnot to get more gold in the bank for. But he gets housed here in the fast speed. But how are mRNH's archers going to deal with massive elephants pushing? That's going to take him completely by surprise here, I think. He wasn't able to scout the stables going up here. He's being chased by Bansanak's scout right now. Bansanak at a lower score overall here, so that could be misleading. He has the villager lead, he has the army, not the army lead in some numbers here, but definitely in army strength with the elephants here. So that's 5 elephants by now, is adding a couple more, so 7 elephants. Both players in Castle Age though, so nothing is to hinder the Britain's player here from adding a monastery and doing some quick walls and keeping the elephants out, but still I think he's going to be taken completely by surprise here by this forward. Battle elephants already with the feudal age armor, that's also the only armor upgrade that Malay elephants get, but the reason Malay can do this kind of play is that their elephants are cheaper. They're like 30% cheaper or so. Let's have a look. Yeah, 30% cheaper. See, 84 food, 49 gold. So means you could mass quite a few of them in Castle Age. I'd say this is a bit of a trolley strategy, but looks like it comes at a bit of some idle time here as well. Now Scout just chilling out outside of MRNH's base. It's probably just to be on the lookout for any archers moving forward, because this is the shorter, most natural way around, as opposed to outside of this woodland here where you need to pass broader outside of the woodland. Here come the tanky boys. 11 elephants. Also still kind of, well, at least at the same builder count here, but committing to this number of elephants, you can't really go for more. You can't really go for the boom here, at least not yet, but you should be buying time here now. And what does MRNH do about this? There's even a forward siege workshop being added by Banstenak here. Banstenak. And yeah. If I were MRNH, I would be scared by now. He's dropping a house right on the gold here. I don't know what that is. A panic house for sure. He must have been housed here, but that leaves the gold miners less efficient here, not able to go, for example, for this pile and go to the mine there. So we all have to place panic houses, but look at this. Let's see MRNH's reaction now. Here come the elephants. That's 11 elephants with the forward attack. Actually, MRNH has been expecting this. He has some pikes, although he has now 10 pikes ready. Also with the defense here, so they should be doing decent, but actually 11 pikes against 11 elephants, the pikes should still lose. Yeah, looks like Banstenak is winning this fight, naturally. He loses 3 elephants. But still, he will siege to support is supplying more elephants as well. Elephants go straight for the TC, need to deal with pikes though. Will handle quite a few arrow shots, and the archers of MRNH won't really do too much. They're not even crossbows yet, so they won't deal too much damage. Still, they could arguably maybe help out here, but better to try and wait for the ability to go for crossbow upgrade. MRNH floating quite a bit of gold and wood here. Siege won't do the trick against elephants, obviously. He will lose his first TC here, 2 elephants, or at least almost. He goes for the repairs here, but there are still more elephants coming forward as well. Banstenak committing to the Elephantos play here. Yeah, still some pikes on the field, but Eco doesn't support any more pikes for MRNH at the moment. Most of his farms have been idle due to the attack, so that poses trouble for the defensive play here. Could potentially have been queuing archers or something meanwhile, but still would have needed a market to go for the upgrades here, because it's missing core resources for the archer range upgrades. So being idled heavily here, MRNH, or at least redisposing Eco, isn't prioritizing fixing this TC because it's been missing stone as well, but now drops a stone and could get repairs in on the TC here. But now with Scorpions for cover fire here, while the elephants can attack the TC or villagers, Scorpions would be able to handle small numbers of pikes as well, and this doesn't look too pretty for MRNH here. Certainly caught off guard by such a massive elephants, but it's not an unknown strategy for hideout either. So steady flow of elephants coming forward here. I think Banstenak even wants to drop a castle now. He's been mining gold, stone, meanwhile going more heavily on stone, and here comes the 105 castle. MRNH meanwhile dropping some farms outside of this. He's fleeing a little bit, but what will he do when the castle foundation comes here? I think he should be seeing the builders. Tries to drop a market to adjust his eco. Understandably enough, it's quite a lot of wood and gold in the bank here. Also some archers out, but what will the archers do? They could target the builders here, but then there are scorpions and elephants to challenge archer fire here. Will delay the archer, delay the castle for sure, but not enough that to prevent it from going up, I think. So 5 scorps, a couple of elephants, 6 scorps, and a castle going up from Mount Snock. Where does MRNH go from here? It's his. If he loses this one, he is out, so I think he will try to escape and commit a little bit longer here, but looks like there's no way back here. He's even behind the villagers behind this massive push here from Mount Snock. We're still obviously on 1 TC, but gathering resources and producing every now and then at home. Let's have a look at his eco actually. It shouldn't be too healthy here. So if MRNH somehow would be able to get the counterattack in with his archers, he could have done some damage on Bonsnak's side, since Bonsnak is committing so much to this forward, but then again, how do you defend from a mass of elephants this early and also a forward castle like this? I don't think there's an easy way back here. Bonsnak dropping TC on the farms here as well, probably wants to just steal the farms here, so the only way to prevent that from happening is actually deleting your own farms when your enemy comes in like this, and that's not the instinct doesn't quite tell you to do so. Scorpions firing away at the TC here as well. One castle taking down, one TC with elephants, and Scorpions taking down the others, and doesn't seem to be any way back here for MRNH, but he's holding on there. He actually has decent villager counts. He's down military-wise, of course, now tries to escape, but there are scorpions covering everything here, not to mention the castle fire. Deletes his blacksmith here to go through, so that's a nice call right there, but will still be chased by scorpions and losing more villagers along the way. 50 to 37 now. And here are the elephants still doing work, taking down one TC. Good thing for Britons, at least, that the TCs cost less wood, so by buying stone you could drop another TC or two and reboom here, going for stone as well. Maybe want the defensive castle against the siege, but putting very much on the back foot here. MRNH is now with 36 villagers to 51, and Bonsnak still extending his forward with rams and more siege as well. Now we even add in knights, probably for the raid potential, or to just hunt down the escape here. I'm guessing Bonsnak is scouting is limited. Not sure if he sees this or not. But some defensive mangonels from MRNH here, so he is holding on. If the scorpions come close, he could get some nice mangonel shots in, but there are scouts on the field from Bonsnak, so if he rests here, he could actually focus down both these. They are unprotected at the moment, although there are some pikes here, so putting them together. 3 mangonels and pikes now, making use of his excess wood and gold here by adding scorps and pikes chasing the scouts here, but we know that Bonsnak has also been producing knights of his own, so he should be able to deal with these mangonels. Has literally taken out the whole base of MRNH now, and the score difference already 1100 something at this point, so MRNH holding on here still is at 40 villagers against 59, considering the push here. That's pretty well done, but where does he go from here? He needs to somehow try and force a counterattack, and looks like Bonsnak is already in the process of walling off this section so that any counterattack won't happen. Yeah, at least he has a house on the hill here, having provide some vision for Bonsnak here. Let's see how much. Yeah, it should be enough to see anything moving in this direction, and now also moves forward with villagers on this side. Probably going to drop a castle on this hill or close to these TCs, just to make life even more awkward for MRNH trying to reboom and expand. Scorpions are hindered for now though, unless the knights can deal with this siege here. If MRNH loses his 4 mangonels now, I think it's game over. Looks like the Mangonels will go down there. All 4 Mangonels down with the Eco Light from MRNH now is barely got anything at all and is looking at a 4 castle being dropped. Tries to fight the builders out now. This basically his only option because he has only 1 military, but I don't think there's any stopping this castle from going at Mount, and that could even consider quick calling his villagers in just to finish the castle. But the GG is called with a question mark for some reason. Could be a mistype, misprint, or could be an actual intended question mark to ask if this was really a GG. But here we go, bursting quickly through the stats. Let's update the score as well to 3-1. That's Bandsnak advancing to the semi-finals. Congratulations. KD pretty massive here, again with the elephants and buildings raised, also significant in this setup. Food and gold, obviously more for Bounce not going for the food and gold heavy units. And uptimes, especially Cast Glacier, pretty similar. It's just impressive with the Malay here that they have the chance to go up. That's quickly, and he made full use of that with an early extremely strong push, also ending up with the villager high since his base was basically untouched at all. So GG's, thanks for watching. I'll be around with more casts as they come in, so that's it for